Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm terrific. I'm terrific. Yeah, it's very windy out there apparently. I can't wait to get out there and get blown around.
Yeah, I'm due to go for a walk and I'm like, maybe not.
One of those days we have to schedule it in, don't you, and sort of prepare mentally.
Prepare mentally, all the coats, all the jackets.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it.
So, congratulations on season 3. It's going to be a heartbreaking one for your character. I was wondering if we could start by explaining where we find Nathan at the beginning of this series.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting divorced at the beginning of the series. That's where we start. And after all the heartbreak of finding out that my wife cheated on me with my best friend the night before our wedding, and then the embarrassment of him ending up on a dating website, and all the various shenanigans in between, we start at a point where it's not looking good for them. They're trying to work out how to navigate this process, I suppose, a process which they're both experts in because they both deal in divorce for a living, and they find themselves in that position. So yeah, it's as always with the split, anyone who's watched it and has seen it already and knows the show will know what a beautiful mix of emotional turmoil and a bit of sort of some, not just in Nicola Walker and my marriage, our on-screen marriage, but also in the clients that she has. There's twists and there's turns, as in the first 2 series. In practice, probably even more heightened this time. So it's just more of the same. And people who love the show will, I think, probably be half bracing themselves, and, for tears.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially because like all the reports and the news is like it's the most heartbreaking season, and like I'm still not recovered from season 2. So
No. I'm not recovered from season 1. In fact, I can still barely go outside without being harangued by people for treating my TV wife badly in that series. Although Nathan was more sympathetic in the second series. Yeah, what's lovely about doing a 3rd series is that was what Abi always had in mind. She wanted to tell this story over 3 series. And it's been such a phenomenal success. I think the danger always is with a success is that the broadcasters go, please, can you just keep going for the next 20 years? Because loads of people are watching this. But what's lovely is that Abi has said, no, I always wanted to write 3. This is going to be it. We're going to wrap up the story one way or the other. So yeah, this is it's the final countdown.
oh gosh, I'm not ready. So how did you prepare for this character's journey in season 3? Because like you said, he's going through a divorce and he wants it to be amicable, but they both know that divorce can be cold and clinical, and at times very turbulent.
Yeah.
How does Nathan kind of go through it?
Well, I genuinely think because there are so many twists and turns, it's very hard to have a master plan. In a way, you just, I think, like people do when they're going through something traumatic and they're just living from day to day. And one day they're a very reasonable, sane, polite, well-ordered person, and the next day they kind of lose themselves a bit. And so that turmoil is all there. So in a way, you just really jump from scene to scene and as an actor, and let the writer and the director worry about the overall shape of it. I think, none of us really ever know how things are going to turn out in life, especially when we're going through difficult moments. You just react to that particular situation. And then you sometimes look back and you think, wow, what was I doing? Or I handled that quite well, or wow, I was a mess. I didn't even realize how much of a mess I was. So yeah, I basically just played it scene for scene, and I know that Abi has got that kaleidoscopic jigsaw puzzle all worked out, because there's a lot of people in the show. I think what people love about it is so many characters. there's so much interest. It's not just the story of two people, it's a whole family. It's a story, it's about sisters, it's about mothers and their daughters, it's about husbands and wives, it's about children and parents. It's all those things all interlocking in a really clever way too clever for me. So I just turn up and go, am I happy or sad?
Yeah, I was going to mention, because it must be, I mean, for Nathan's character, he also has to divorce a whole family.
Yeah.
And she's got like the bedrock of her sisters, and for him it's like he has to lose that sisterhood as well.
Yeah, I mean, that must be a huge part of, because you don't marry just the person, you marry everything about them, their family, their friends, and especially when you've been together that long, your lives are so intertwined. That's the question. How do you unpick that? How do you make that work? How do you create a situation where you can still be a good parent, where what happens to your friendship, as you say, with her sisters and her mother? I mean, and then just aren't any easy answers to that, which is great for a dramatist.
Yeah.
Not having easy answers makes things a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. So what was it like working with Nicola on this new chapter for their relationship?
It was great. I mean, Nicola and I have known each other since we were teenagers anyway, so it's been very easy. You don't have to, we've never had to got to know each other. Like, that thing of like, Stephen, meet Susan. You and Susan have been married for 20 years. Action. We already have a relationship, and we've already had some really intense and joyful stuff to shoot. So, it's just a treat working with her, because she's not as popular an actress as she is for no reason. She's so good, and it's so much fun, actually. And weirdly, the more devastating the scenes, sometimes the more fun they can be to shoot. It's a really weird paradox. Sometimes comedy can be really head scratching and difficult, trying to unlock this puzzle. But there's something you purge, I think, when you film really dramatic scenes. You kind of exorcise some of those deeper emotions, and it leaves you feeling a bit lighter. And actually, it can be great fun.
Absolutely, and it's just beautiful together. You've got such great chemistry on screen, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays as you're separating.
Yeah, but I'm not, I'm not giving anything away. Obviously, there are, anyone who watches the split by now should know not to take anything for granted. So that's all I'm saying on that matter.
Absolutely. And obviously we mentioned Abi's writing. It's so brilliant. I'm really interested in how season 3 will talk about your children in the show and their impact of the divorce, and how that will come into play, because there's obviously a lot of love between the parents and the children.
Yeah, there is, but I think what she's written in so well is that the very act of getting divorced, however immaturely and sensitively the parents are taking it, you're blowing apart a child's core world, their setup. And especially at the age that our children are in the show, sort of early teens, especially for my son, it's a really tricky time anyway to be. I wouldn't want to be 14 again for all the money in China, but it's a really turbulent time, and to have this as well, I think, children really don't know how to handle it and don't understand, because often the parents don't understand fully what's going on. I mean, they just know they're suddenly in this situation. I mean, which of us knows exactly why we're doing everything at every particular moment? We don't. We act on instinct and learned patterns of behavior that may not be healthy. So yeah, the kids, it's a mess, basically, with our children. It's a mess. And our eldest daughter has just come back from a trip abroad, and she's turned up with some devastating news for us all. My son is really not interested anymore. My youngest daughter keeps looking at me like I'm the worst dad in the world. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult. I mean, yeah.
Oh wow, I can't. I mean, can wait to watch it because I don't want to go through that heartbreak with him, but also at the same time, I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be just a really beautifully done series. It sounds.
Well, that's just testament, I think, to all the people involved. And as you know, it takes a huge amount of people to make a television show, and us actors are often, you know, front and center because we're the face of it. But of course, you know, not only is Abi a great writer, we've got a great director. Abi's directed herself. With Jane Featherstone is one that, you know, has made some of the best drama of the last 10 years. So yeah, it's always a treat to be involved in a sort of Rolls Royce of a show where everyone knows what they're doing and is doing it really well.
Absolutely. So how has it been saying goodbye then to this show?
Oh, it's awful. I mean, when it ended, we were all really upset because even though it's been 3 series, because of COVID and all the rest of it, it's taken quite a long time to shoot. It's taken, I think, 5, I don't know, was it 5 or 6 years we started the first series. So it's very hard when you know, and these series take quite a long time to film. So we're not happy, basically, and not being able to hang out with each other anymore. That's the weird thing about it. It's one of the great joys of it, is that you meet this group of people, you have a really intense time with them, you disperse, and there's this constant turnover of, you know, people and situations, and you know, it's very stimulating. I love it. I love that part of being an actor. But at the same time, when something ends that you've been in for a while, when episodes finished, when Green Wing finished, this finished, you know, it's a real wrench, because it's become, they've become your sort of gang and your friends, and yeah, that bit of it was very unpleasant. But so we're as upset as everybody else that it's over.
I can imagine. Would you ever come back and say, like, revisit these characters in like 10 years time for a one-off kind of episode? Just
yeah, I mean,
they are.
I've learned never to say never, so who knows? I mean, that's an impossible question to answer, but there's no reason why, you know, actors don't like to turn down, you know, a great bit of work that's well written, and is, you know, that's what you're always looking for. So yeah, if Abi in 10 years time said, you know, Nathan is now on his 16th divorce, or Hannah and he are still together, and they're, you know, whatever it is, yeah, I'm sure I'd be up for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I've been a big fan of yours for a while, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Confetti is one of my favorite films. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
totally improvised movie. Yeah, that was an incredible experience.
Hilariously about weddings. So
I know. There you go. It's obviously becoming my thing.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I can't wait for people to see this season. It sounds like it's going to be so heart-wrenching but amazing at the same time. So congratulations.
So. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey